Microphone check. What is going on, guys? Regan here from Syndicate store.
My name's Dylan
Connell.
at Yak Wheel.
And we are here to reignite the Syndicate podcast. Just going to get my mic a little bit better and lined up with Connell. I probably should have done that before we started, but I think this is good enough. And, you know, I'll be talking to you and then I'll be looking deep into the eyes of the audience anyway. So half is kind of good. So to bring back the podcast, we have rented this office and set the beast up, and we have posted on Instagram on my account, Regan Thompson 23 at Regan Thompson 23. And I said, we're bringing back the podcast. My guarantee to you is anything you comment on this Instagram post will be brought up on the pod. And Dylan has, to the right of me, got this Instagram account up with the comments. And we couldn't pick one. And he said, we're going to go from the top.
Yeah, there's a lot of good questions.
Read out some of the questions. Go through like some random ones.
All right. What trick selection is and what makes a video?
Amazing topic. That's a whole video in itself.
Yep. What do video parts need more of? Who looks
They
like...
could be put together, those two questions, don't you reckon?
Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
We could touch on both of those.
Yeah.
Who looks like the next up-and-coming in the Briz/Gold Coast scene?
Who asked that question? Because I think that's Hopgood.
Yeah, that is Hopgood.
No, I mean like the answer to that question.
Yeah,
is,
honestly.
Oh, was that who?
Yeah, Hopgood asked it.
I'm just joking, I know. Ha, love you, Hoppy. What else we got?
This one's a good one. Would the Olympics be a positive or a negative to scooters?
Yeah, I saw that. I have seen them all. I've been checking it every 6 hours or so. I keep going back and looking through all the questions, and there's so many good ones. It's going to take us more than today to even do it. But to just break the ice of getting back into the potty in general, let's just pick one. What do you want to do?
Well, I think we could go from the top. So we're going to combine these two questions. So I've got the homie Noah Brown. He asked, what do video parts need more of? And another homie from SA, Jazza Brown, what trick selection is and what makes a video. So it's a pretty... Like, it's hard with videos because they're all personal preference. Like, I could love a video that you may hate.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, trick selection... I mean, like, how do you answer what trick selection is? It's just what tricks you choose to do. But I think a lot of people get really picky with what tricks they do because some tricks are very frowned upon, I guess, in the streets. You know, like locking grinds, not doing your board slides properly, you know, stuff like that.
Some people hate flips in the street. Some people love flips in the street.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the idea that he means for a street video part. We're obviously talking street video part. So what I'm going to need to write this down so I can stay on. What's the question?
What trick selection is and what makes a video, and also Noah's part. What do video parts need more of?
What's trick selection? What was the next bit?
What makes a video?
What makes a video? Yeah.
Yeah, and what do video parts need more of?
Makes a vid. What do they need more of? All right. Sorry, guys, for slowing it down, but I just really had to write this in a way that I could just have it there to reference. Also, we haven't podcasted in ages, so it's like we just hit record and the bright lights has smashed my face and it's kind of got a bit of stage fright, but...
All right, so we should start with the first part of the two questions, what trick selection is. And I think trick selection is very important because, you know, like I want to do tricks that look good, and I'm sure you do as well. Like, so some people that, you know, are considered to have poor trick selection might do tricks that, you know, aren't trendy or don't look good or whatever. But I guess on the other hand, your tricks represent your riding and you as a person. So like if you want to do a lock and grind, like I might not enjoy watching it or the look of it, but if you're having fun doing it, then who cares in a way. But I personally take trick selection sort of serious.
I don't do tricks. Like I don't do whips or bars. I mainly only do 50s and boards, 50s two boards and stuff. Like I feel like I don't have a big selection of tricks to pull from, but I think my part in our nature was still a good part with variety, and I was more focusing on the spots. I've always said I don't do tricks as much as I do spots. I don't do tricks, I ride spots. Like I'm looking for spots, and it's not, to me, the trick is actually not as important. It's the, can I get from this obstacle onto that obstacle? Like for me, I'm regularly trying to ride two different things, so it's hard for me to comment on trick selection because I just like notoriously don't have tricks. Like, so who's someone who has a really good selection of tricks? Like Lev. He can do crazy Nozza stuff, but he can also do like whip into grinds. And that makes for an entertaining video. In, going on to the next question, what makes a video? That's a cool thing, is like Lev is someone who could just do long, big rails, clip after clip after clip, but he doesn't. He'll go crazy Noz, like crazy, Noz trick, or I don't know if he's actually released that much, but some of the stuff I've got filmed of him that's not released is, he's got a good trick selection is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but I think
make a good video.
I think that's more variety rather than trick selection. It's a little bit different because Levi could be doing, whip board lock in 360. He definitely has the ability to do that, but he chooses not to do it.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like, it's not about what you can do, it's about what tricks you select to perform.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Isn't that that's like style for something like a lock-in? That's a very specific like example you're using. So I'm trying to open up like trick selection into a different, into like a different realm. And I think like the flips winning street jams kind of thing is like a example of not an awesome trick selection. Like, something I guess we've talked about, and not going to like come out here guns blazing trying to roast people for doing that. So I'm trying to think of more positive examples of.
I just think it's just down to people choosing what looks good.
Yeah.
It's about it. They don't have to, do flips down stair sets or do locking grinds or anything like that. It's just about what they think looks good.
Yeah. So that's what is trick selection. Yeah. And all right, well, what makes a vid?
A camera.
You're pretty big on that?
No, well, what makes a video? I think it's obviously...
a combination of it all.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily good writing, but stylish writing. So obviously the writing has to be good or stylish. And then I don't think that matters as much as the filming and the editing and the song choice. I think song choice is really important because it sets the tone of your video. And the filming obviously has to complement the song and complement the writing, and it all has to work together, very well. You need to have a good selection of B-roll, I would say, because sometimes clip after clip, it gets boring to watch.
Yeah, it just those little things in between clips. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe show something at the spot that hasn't been noticed, or, what the rider likes doing when he's not on the scooter, just hanging out, having fun.
It's such a big difference. like what you that point, the B-roll, the stuff in between, and it's one of those things that it goes a bit unnoticed, even though it's the thing that can make a video so much better.
Yeah.
It's something that people might be watching, and while they're watching the video, they're enjoying the video, and they might not even realize like how important that B-roll was for just like it kind of stops the writing, gives you something beautiful to look at. It like kind of resets the like visual palette, and then like the next clip starts. And yeah, that's definitely something that in scootering, when it is done, a good percentage of the time it's done like pretty poorly or pretty badly. Then there is some people who do it like really well. But I find when I watch Adidas skateboarding videos, I can see some really good examples of really artistic, well done B-roll, but also some of them to the point where it's like overdone. So sorry, kind of went on a bit there about B-roll, but what makes a vid? B-roll is a big part of it.
Yeah, I think that's important. It just breaks up the video. You know, it can sort of add to the vibe that you're going for. You know, if you're using a really fun, upbeat song, you know, it can be sick to see the writer having a laugh, or, you know, hanging with mates, or just doing something fun. You know, if you're using like a real serious, gnarly song, maybe a B-roll of like a bad crash can, you know, emphasize the mood that you're trying to set with the video.
Yeah, there's like B-roll. There's like types of B-roll. There's like art direction B-roll, and like, you know, some of it will be like church windows and stuff like that. Some of it will be crashes, the boys laughing, stuff like that. So
yeah, I find it really hard to shoot B-roll myself. I'm always like trying to plan it out, and the best B-roll isn't really planned. You just have to have the camera and just point when, you know, nothing's going on. And it can sometimes be hard to like, you know, shoot like real candid B-roll, because once you get the camera out, like, you know, your writer might notice you filming them and change the way they're acting because you're filming them.
Normally the funny thing, you're getting the camera out to film, or the beautiful scene, you're getting the camera out to film, by the time you've like got it out and pointed over, it's like kind of like over, and now it's kind of weird that you're like filming it. But that is also one of the defining things that makes a filmer or a video producer like good compared to a bad filmer and video producer, is the fact that they not like that's make or break, but if you were trying to score a filmer producer, give them a tally for certain categories, that's a category that they would, you know, if they can tick that one, that's very valuable.
Like I've seen like professional skateboarding videos that I don't enjoy just because of the lack of B-roll and the, you know, it's almost like a forced like video. It just feels so unnatural.
Yeah.
Like, just it goes a long way to shoot B-roll, I think. You know, you can have a good filmer, a good skater or rider or whatever you're filming, and if the video doesn't flow, or, you know, it's not a good song choice or whatever, like all of those things tie in together. So I think it's all of the above, really.
What do they need more of? Just to skip ahead, that B-roll. So what else makes a vid? You were saying song, filming, having someone behind the fisheye who knows what they're doing with the fisheye, or if they don't know what they're doing with the fisheye, someone who can at least be like take direction quite well on what to do with the fisheye. Like that's a really hard one, is passing the fisheye to someone who's not experienced with it. The long lens is obviously a lot easier, but even still,
I think it's harder.
Well, harder to do well in a specific
I think it depends.
Yes,
it all depends on what you're going for. I think fisheye, you know, it's really wide, so you can usually get most of the shot in, although it can be harder to.
But fisheye lines, sorry to cut you off.
Fisheye lines.
As soon as you say, oh yeah, but fisheye line, like give someone a camera with a fisheye on it and then do a line where you hit 3 different obstacles, that's going to be a shocking end result compared to passing someone the HMC and saying, get a long lens clip of me just doing doing this.
Yeah, that is true.
But that's one of those things where there's been a lot of bitching about that in scootering for many years, about video quality and stuff. And more people just need to do it, just need to make a video, even if it's shit and even if people hate on you for it, or just make it. And if it's that bad, don't even put it out. But honestly, screw that, actually put it out, of course. But what I'm trying to get at is like, that has been seems to have been a real big drop off for scootering, or just an area that needs to be nurtured more. And it does come down to companies funding it and supporting it and stuff as well, which gets harder when Instagram becomes bigger and drives sales. There's not as much funding to go towards things like videos and stuff like that. But that pathway of someone becoming a filmer, editor, is a very narrow, slim, and often missed pathway, to the point where, you know, for example, how many people do we know who ride scooters? Fucking heaps.
Hundreds.
How many people do we know who could put together a half-decent video? Handful of people. In regards to filming, handful of people. So what do they need more of? They need more good filmers. But until then, just filmers. You don't have to be a good filmer.
Yeah, it's sort of like writing. You know, I always looked at, like when I was growing up writing, when I was getting into more like street orientated writing, which was like 2013, I think, when I was like actually taking it serious. I always thought, even before that actually, like to ride a scooter, you needed a camera. Like that was just scooter camera, film videos, because we didn't have, you know, we had 15-second Instagram clips that we could upload in 2012, I think. So when I was writing, I started in 2008, there was no such thing as Instagram clips. Like everyone was playing games of Scoot on YouTube, and YouTube was the platform to show your writing off to the world.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. And also another thing that I should add to what makes a video, it's not just the filming and whatnot, it's also the settings. Like you need to know your camera settings. I think that's very important, because a lot of people just pick up a camera, you know, they flick a couple buttons till it's lit up well. And even though, you know, your camera can look like, you know, the same as it does on 2000 shutter as 200, there's a big difference in how your footage is going to come out.
And on that note, I take responsibility for that not being more known, because we've got this platform, Syndicate, and we always talk about making videos, explaining shit about cameras. So we're going to do a video at some stage, and if in like a month or two's time this video doesn't exist, I give anyone permission to call us out and be like, oi, shit cunts, you said you were going to do this, so do it. A beginner camera setup, an intermediate camera setup, maybe that's all we need to do. By the time you understand beginner and intermediate cameras, you'll know what an expert camera setup is, and you'll have your own, you know, style and goal and stuff. But we need to do a video that's like, all right, this is the cheapest way you can like get into this.
Yeah.
And if you maybe want to go a bit higher level, then this is it. And we'll tell them, we'll give them like, here's 2 DSLR options, here's 2 fisheye lens options that you can get. Okay, so you're going to need a long lens as well that can zoom. Here's this camera. Like, we are going to make the blueprint in a relatively short, like 5 to 10 minute video that just breaks it down, so at least we can go, people go, yeah, I want to get into filming and editing, but you know, there's always the comments on YouTube like, what camera is this? I wish, like, so yeah. Sorry, that was a bit off topic, but not really, because I'm kind of freestyling it there. But yeah,
well, it's what the videos need more of, and it's filmers, and
we're gonna help make that happen.
Yeah, hopefully.
Now we're gonna do it.
Yeah, but it is up to those guys if they want to actually pursue that, which I think.
I reckon a bunch of people will be watching this right now and be like, "Oh, sick! If you guys can tell me what cameras to get and what lenses to get, and maybe even some tutorials about how to use them in those beginner stages."
Yeah.
Do it. Free,
Yeah, I think
free
it's
course on Syndicate, how to get into filming and editing for school.
yeah, that'd be sick. So, you know, hit us in the comments down below if that's something you guys would be interested in.
Someone comment it and then everyone else like it, so it comes to the top, and we'll be like, yeah, fucking have to do this. What else do videos need more of? Good music. You kind of said that, but I didn't harp on about it like I want to. And I've seen some horrid songs used in videos. But even I thought the song I used for In Our Nature was so amazing and awesome for my part. And then a couple months after it had come out, a bunch of the boys were like, yeah, I don't know what you were thinking with that. And I was like, oh, geez, thanks for fucking saying that before the video dropped. But
I'm sort of on their side for that, but your part should be a reflection of like your tastes and your tricks.
I really liked the lyrics.
Yeah.
And it had like a special like meaning to me, like dreamers, you know, we're like dreamers and stuff. But that's where scooter riders like me need to be pulled up by a wiser creative director and gone, yeah, okay, cool song, but no.
Yeah.
It's not there's a level of, yeah, this part's a reflection of me and I want to use this song and blah, blah, blah. Like, cool, you can go that route, but the video won't be as good.
Yeah.
The video, my part would have been better if I had of maybe ask some other people instead of going with my your personal opinion on and your personal feelings about it. A song that means a lot to you is not what makes a good video part.
Yeah,
it might, if the two line up, if it ends up being a good part song and it means a lot to you, cool.
Yeah, like I like so many songs that I would not use for a video.
Yeah.
Like they're sick, you know, I listen to them. Good to listen to, but no thanks, I will not use them for a part. Like I've been filming with Hopgood for a year and a half now, maybe a little bit longer, and I've found like one song to use.
Oh, that song's the one you showed me. It was called... just kidding. Yeah, part songs is... people need to stop being allowed to choose their part songs.
I think just watch skateboarding videos. Like they do it so well. Even like snowboarding.
But I think, yeah, and I think that's why, because they have someone who is a bit more in charge of the project that's just like, no, this is, yeah, it's your clips, but this is also my thing, and I'm not using that song. And they like, and they've made multiple videos, and there was a time in scootering when the street videos that were dropping there was lots of good songs.
Yeah, there was classics.
There was an era of, and that formed all of our playlists and stuff like that. And now there's a new era or a new generation, or there's a experimental phase. Because I'm not even talking about no names. I'm talking about decent sized companies, big writers using questionable songs in, you know, otherwise amazing videos.
Yeah.
And I think we'll look back on it in 2 or 3 years' time, the same way we look back at other times, and we'll be able to point out this kind of period now and be like, yeah, there was some weird shit going on there. There was some weird songs, some funny songs and some cringy songs, and yeah.
I would have to agree. And also with song choice, it's cool to use a different song, but not so it sounds dumb, but like for example, Monkey's part in the Tilt video, use that Uncivilized song by, I forget, I think the band's called Frustration. That was such a sick song, but it was still so different, so that's why that stuck in my head. Like,
and you're saying that's a good part, good song,
good part, good
example?
song.
Yeah,
because usually I remember parts because of the songs, and songs because of the parts.
Yeah.
I think they have to go hand in hand. And I think having a song that, you know, adds character and is different to like what everyone else is using, but not being terrible, still suiting the video, I think that really makes a video as well.
Well, did definitely dive into some little offshoots of that question, but that's literally exactly why I wanted to get back into doing the podcast, because I just want to like talk about this stuff. So I hope that was interesting to people. What's trick selection? What makes a vid? And what do videos need more of? I'm expecting the camera to time out at I think it's 29 minutes or whatever it times out. So we technically have a few more minutes. Or are we happy with?
Well, I'll say what do they need more of. So I said good filmers, good editing,
true,
good songs.
There's definitely more to talk about on that.
Good trick selection. I think that matters in a video. You know, tricks that look good, haven't been done very often.
Yeah.
And you also need, because like so many videos come out these days and it's just like banger after banger after banger. And while that's cool,
You need shit.
you need contrast. You need contrast in the video, because I don't know what tricks you're going to be most stoked on if they're all super, you know, gnarly. So I like to watch some chill lines, you know, like maybe some cool fillers, harder technical tricks, all in between, like, you know, big gaps or big rails.
Yeah.
So I think scooter riders push themselves way too hard with videos.
Yeah.
You know, I look at skateboarding, they can do a backside flip flat in a line to a, you know, something down a set, and it's like probably rather chill for them, but it looks good and it helps them, you know, fill up their video quicker, because they could be working on like 3 or 4 videos at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you're putting all of your effort into every single clip, you're going to film a video in 3 years.
Yeah, for sure. I think one to point out is the way the spot looks on the camera. So you might find a certain rail have a certain trick for it, and I probably would never say not to film on something because of, you know, how it looks and stuff, but a video sticks out to me because of the wall in the background. Like if I see a certain spot if I see a certain building, that will make me look for a spot nearby. I'm like, I want that to be the backdrop of this clip. Like there's a clip in my Ion part which was manual and drop down and chink and then the little front 270 lip. You filmed it?
Yeah, I think I did.
You filmed it long lens. That I loved the spot.
Yeah, it was a cool
So
spot.
much to look at because it had that like railing, and I've looked at that little like combobulation of things for years.
And the colours of the spot as well.
And I've always just been like, oh, I'd love to like get a clip there. And then that day I was just like, oh, I could. And like, because that clip is like it was a bit of a clip like you wouldn't think of that. It doesn't look like that. So it was a very small rail to hit. It was a very low mani pad for the drop off. Like, questionable. But because of how it looked, I was like, this is art. Like it just meant so much what the area looked like, and that's hard in Australia.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of our rails, the backdrop is just brown trees with green leaves and green grass, and like people say, it's funny, you see comments on YouTube like, oh man, the spots in Australia, it's like, oh, you guys don't realize how hard we have to look for some of these spots, and a lot of the schools just look the same, and anyway,
not very interesting.
we're gonna get cut off in I think 30 seconds from the timer. Do you have anything more to add on the?
No, I think that's pretty much it. We've gone over that pretty well.
I'm sure there is a bunch more stuff we could say what videos need more of.
But they're just the most important things that come to mind, I guess.
Maybe we missed a really important one and can't even think of it. But
yeah.
So, who asked those questions again?
That was Jazza Brown and Noah Brown.